Hey guys, I'm Alexa Reeves, and I will be your witch and host on today's episode of Boxed Wine and Witchcraft. Today, I get the great pleasure of reviewing some of our favorite tarot decks. I've been given permission to go over various decks that we've got throughout the shop. I'll talk about the materials that the decks are made of, what I like about the deck, what I like about the accompanying booklet, if there are any drawbacks about the deck at all, and just kind of the overall vibe and good uses for that deck. So, I'd invite you all to go pour yourself a glass of wine. Tonight, I just opened my Boda box of Chardonnay that I'll be sipping out of my chicken mug. Let's get started. Today's episode, we get to talk about the Transparent Tarot deck. The Transparent Tarot deck is brought to us by Emily Carding. She is a priestess and Reiki master in rural Sussex. And the deck that she designed, it's a full 78 card deck. It's made of plastic though, and this is what you can kind of see the little sheen here. This is a minimalistic imaged transparent deck. The art in them is it doesn't take up the full card, it doesn't take up the full spread, and it's not supposed to. You can kind of see there. What I do like about the fact that this deck is when you buy it, it comes with a white reading cloth. And the white reading cloth is important because you can see kind of without the backing, it's hard to make heads or tails of the image. Once you put it on a backing though, you can actually get a really good sense of what the image is showing. The deck itself, as far as materials go, the art in it is a really beautiful watercolor pointillism style. They're a good sized deck. They fit in your hand rather nicely, which I enjoy as far as shuffling goes. They look like a camera reel. They look very similar to camera reels or pictures and photos, if we all remember kind of what film actually used to look like back in the day. And the white reading cloth comes with it. So this whole set comes with the whole tarot deck, a white reading cloth, and a pretty hefty book that Emily penned herself, which is really nice. I love this deck. I am obsessed with it. I am so glad I bought it. As you can see with some of the art styles, when you actually layer them onto some white here, this is our Magician card. It shows that synthesis, it shows that movement, but the images are small. They're meant to be small. Because the idea is that when you read with this deck, you're meant to stack images together. You're meant to layer them on top of one another to kind of get the full story of what it is you're seeing here. So you can take two cards in a spread and actually layer them on top of each other to really see that interaction between the cards and the messages between those cards and how they're actually synthesizing together. I love the fact that you can almost tell a complete story with this deck of cards. It lends itself to really good business readings or career readings. I've had excellent success with those because the cards are meant to lay on top of each other. The cards are meant to show you how things interact with each other, not just in a sense of, one relating to the next or one relating to something else, but they're really meant to show you how two different ideas can come together in one spread. And that's a really good, I guess, tool, I would definitely say, for someone who is really trying to lean more into their intuitive side rather than just knowing, what the cards do and what the cards say. But being able to interpret off of that is really, really satisfying. I also enjoy, and granted, most tarot readers will tell you that the first thing you do is chuck the book out and don't read it, go on your intuition, and absolutely do that. However, with the book that Emily Carding gives you, it's a thick book, guys. This is a pretty substantial piece of weight here. It's thorough. She goes into breathtaking detail on how these cards can layer together, on suggested divinatory meetings of what cards stacked together might look like with each other. She offers a couple example spreads, which I really like. I love the fact that in the back she recommends, how you can stack the cards together while, not necessarily maybe one on top of each other, but kind of one offset with each other or one kind of building on each other. That really offers you a really good opportunity to work with the deck and learn from the deck. This deck definitely has a specific style of wanting to be read, wanting to be used in a certain way. The book helps with that because this isn't like your mom's tarot deck. This isn't a very traditional deck. But she gives examples of what stacked cards might look like when you actually get to the cards themselves. And I think that's such a good example. That's such a good change up on how tarot cards explain themselves to you and how the divinatory meanings and the actual meanings run with each other. I would definitely recommend flipping through this book a couple of times just for the sake of the knowledge in here and the work she's put in is excellent. As far as the only drawback I can see with the transparent tarot deck is just that, is the fact that it is in fact transparent. It's nice if you're going to do your readings on your own, but if you're really going to read any large sort of reading, you have to have a white cloth, or you have to have some sort of minimalistically patterned backdrop, because that whiteness, that white background, that clear background there lends itself to being, it needs to be on a white cloth like this. It needs to kind of show off those little subtle images together and how they lay together and how they play together. So that's really the only drawback I have with this deck. I absolutely love this deck. I would buy it again, absolutely. It's one of my favorite decks to use for career spreads, home spreads, anyone that's moving houses or jobs or careers or anything like that, because it gives you that good story feeling between your cards. I definitely recommend you picking up this deck. I definitely recommend you playing with this deck. If you own this deck, drop us a like, drop us a comment, come by the shop and tell us what you use your deck for. We are always excited to hear from fellow readers and fellow magicians out there. So please feel free to stop by and come see us in the shop here. And until next time, you guys, pour yourself another glass of wine, pop open that boxed wine in the fridge, and throw some tarot cards down because, by goodness, it's worth it.